I'm making this video for the friends that have not seen Star Wars. I have quite a bit of friends that actually have not seen Star Wars, so I'm gonna make this video to tell them how to get into Star Wars. If you've never seen it, what movies to watch, what movies to just never watch, whatever. Here's my thing about Star Wars. There are a lot of movies. And with franchises, some people feel like, okay, I gotta go experience it all. You really don't. I mean, there are so many franchises you could literally just watch one movie. I mean, Transformers. To get the full experience of the Transformers franchise, just watch the first one. Because the other ones suck. And it's not just like the first one kind of sucks too. But what I'm going to tell you is, though, they're all the same movie. So, with Lord of the Rings, just watch the Lord of the Rings movies. Because why watch The Hobbit? What does The Hobbit contribute to the rest of the franchise? And that's coming from someone who has not watched The Hobbit and the Lord of the Rings movies. I am planning to do videos on there at some point next year. I want to do a review series going through all of them. You got Jurassic World. The Jurassic Park franchise in Jurassic World. Only watch Jurassic Park because it's the only good one. Fight me. And that's coming from someone who likes Jurassic World somewhat, and Jurassic Park 3 and Jurassic Park 2 and things like that. They're not good movies. I like them. You know what? Lost World's okay. I don't know why people hate that one so much. But, so I'm just going to tell you how you could, watch Star Wars in the correct viewing order. Some people think they should start with the prequels. Don't do this. Not because the prequels are bad, is because if you watch the prequels and you hate the prequels, you will hate Star Wars. You will hate them because they're bad movies that will leave you confused. And it'll kind of just taint you a little bit and make you not want to watch anymore. They're kind of just extra backstory to the Star Wars universe that is not necessary. Nobody in 1997 said, I want to know who that guy is behind the helmet. Who's that Darth Vader guy? Nobody said that back when the first Star Wars came out. It's unnecessary backstory that we all thought was going to be interesting, and it was not. It was a terrible film series, and it does not contribute anything to the actual Star Wars universe besides little, this is how this character started. This is how that character started. It does not matter. You should not watch those. So skip Phantom Menace, Revenge of the Sith, and Attack of the Clones. Skip all three of those. If you were someone who's like, okay, after you watch the movies I'm going to tell you to watch, and you still want to go see those movies, go right ahead. There's no harm in doing that. There are plenty of fans of those movies. But I'm just saying, do not watch those movies first. Don't do it. So where do you start? Well, you start with the very first one ever made, Star Wars A New Hope, aka Star Wars, because it was not Star Wars A New Hope when it came out. They changed the name because, of course, you can't call it Star Wars because nobody will know what you're talking about because how many Star Wars movies there are. Star Wars is great. It's a great movie. And it's a perfect introduction, and it sets everything up, the world and characters, perfectly. I think it's the only Star Wars movie to set up every plot point within the movie perfectly. That is the movie you start with. Then you go to Empire Strikes Back, because it's the movie that continues the story of A New Hope right afterwards. And then you watch Return of the Jedi, because it continues the story right afterwards. And then if you don't like Star Wars, honestly, if you don't like those three movies, you will never like Star Wars, and you need to quit. I'm not going to hate anybody who does not like Star Wars. It's just saying, I'm just going to tell you right now, they are good movies. If you don't like them, that's fine, but they are objectively good movies. And if you don't like those movies, you will never like Star Wars, honestly. You will never get into it. It is not your thing. So you might as well quit now. But if you like those movies and you want to know what's next, watch Force Awakens. Some of y'all might be saying, why watch Force Awakens? I'm going to tell you all right now. The Force Awakens, while it does do a lot of rehashing, same thing with The Last Jedi, which you should watch after The Force Awakens, takes The Rise of Skywalker, makes both of those movies worth it, even though they're not necessarily great. They're still fun to watch. There are scenes of them that you will enjoy and things that are interesting. So if you hate Last Jedi, I understand, because a lot of people like that movie, but Rise of Skywalker makes it worth it, and that's what you should watch afterwards. And then after you've seen all 6 of those movies, never again. If you want more, like you want something else, like, okay, well, I watched all these movies with the Luke Skywalkers and the Chewbacca's and things like that. I want some more different type of stuff. I'm going to do TV shows too and spin-off crap, but I'm getting there. Just give me a moment. But if you're like that and you just want something different, watch Rogue One. A lot of people like Rogue One. I'm mixed on it. I don't really hate that movie. I kind of have problems with it. But I do recommend that if you're like, I want a different type of Star Wars story, watch Rogue One. Do that. And yeah, that's a good choice to watch. After that, I would recommend you watch Solo at least one time. If you don't like it, that's understandable. A lot of people don't like that one. I don't like that. I'm mixed on that one too. A lot of the Star Wars movies you're going to hear me say aren't really that good. I just, as a fan, I kind of make up a little bit of excuses for them. Like, Phantom Menace isn't that bad. I love that movie. It really sucks, but I love it. So, I love it. What is that voice I'm doing? I love it. Ooh, I love it. What is this? I don't know. But that's all I'm going to tell you. And then if you want to get kind of the experience of watching the prequels without watching the prequels, again, that's Phantom Menace, Attack of the Clones, Revenge of the Sith. There's the Clone Wars animated series. There's the 2D one, which is good. It's on, you can look that up on YouTube, watch the whole thing. It's probably like 2 hours. It's a whole show that you can watch within 2 hours. That's a good choice if you want to check that out. But after that, there's a Clone Wars animated film. Do not watch that movie. It's not interesting, it's boring, and you will hate watching it. But you should watch the Clone Wars animated show. Because everything the prequels did wrong, that show perfects it and does it way better. Everyone loves that show. It's getting to season 7 this month, or not this month, next month on Disney Plus. Super excited. You should watch that show. And there's original characters that do not show up in any of the movies in that show, and they're really good characters, and they have interesting stories in books, movies, games, comics, and they're great characters. You should watch that show. Then I'm going to tell you right after that, after you finish Clone Wars, you might be tempted to watch Rebels, because Clone Wars ends on a cliffhanger. Of course, they are fixing that with season 7, but do not watch Rebels. A lot of people like Rebels, and if you want to watch Rebels, go ahead. But I don't recommend it because it's not a good show. There's a lot of problems with Rebels, and it's quite boring, and it takes a long time to get somewhere. Like, season 1 is a bunch of meandering, kind of pandering episodes. Season 2 gets a little bit more interesting, but still is quite pandering. And then season 3, it doesn't really do all that much. Season 4 is just kind of the same thing. It's pretty lame, honestly. There's some good characters in that show, like Kanan and stuff, but it's just not worth sitting through the piece of garbage that show is, honestly. I hate that show. And then you got, right after that, if you really want a good Star Wars TV show to watch, a really good one, The Mandalorian. You should watch that. That one you don't have to have any knowledge of the Star Wars universe to watch. You literally could just watch it. That's it. It's great. I mean, it's its own self-contained story. All you need to know, you do need to watch the original trilogy, kind of just to understand the setting, because it takes place after Return of the Jedi, after the Empire fell, and then you kind of see the aftermath of that. So kind of you have to see that, but even then, it's kind of like, if you just have the knowledge of what happened, you should be fine. Clone Wars, I'm going to tell you this, though. If you're going to watch that show, all 6 seasons of it, Season 1 and 2 are a little slow, but from that, after that, it gets so much better from that point forward. So you just got to give it time to get where it needs to go, and then you'll really get into it. And it's also, a lot of the episodes are out of order. That is on purpose. It's an anthology show, so a lot of the episodes aren't in chronological order. It's just little stories that you just kind of watch in the Star Wars universe with characters like Yoda, Obi-Wan, Ahsoka, Anakin, and all these different characters and different things. And it switches between characters. It's a great show. I really recommend watching it. And yeah, that's all. That's what I'm gonna do for how you should start watching Star Wars. I'm not going to do a video on like books and games. Honestly, I'm not a professional on those. I haven't played every Star Wars game. I haven't read every book. I haven't read all the comics, and especially the new ones. I can't deal with those. You know, but in terms of movies and TV shows, that's how you should do it. If you're interested in watching Star Wars Resistance, just don't. It's a little kid show. If your kid wants to watch it, go ahead. But overall, never watch that. And then there we got the spin-offs. There's the Ewok movies. The Ewok movies are boring, and if someone tells you they're good, it's probably because they grew up when they came out. They're not good movies. They're terrible. There is no story to them, and it's a lot of terrible acting and performances, and it's not fun to watch. So, yeah, and they're definitely made for TV 1980 something movies. So, and then you got the Star Wars Christmas special, which, look, I'll be real, just look up the animated segment on YouTube. Yeah, it's kind of ugly looking, but at the same time it's kind of cool looking, and it's the most characterization Boba Fett has ever had. I'm going to try to leave the link in the description to the animated segment and the Clone Wars animated series here on YouTube. So if you want to watch those, links will be in the description. Check those out. And yeah, that's all I'm going to tell you. I have not checked out all the Lego stuff, so I don't know if the Lego stuff is any good, but you really don't need to watch those. That's all I'm going to tell you on that. So that's going to do it for this video. Bye.